I know this is going to make me a traitor. I know this is going to make me a bootlicker, a shine, whatever derogatory name African Americans use to degrade, berate, deride their fellow African Americans or Black Americans who express an opinion that does not fall in line with the prescribed narrative of the African American collective. But I believe many of us are totally wrong on this Austin Metcalf, Karmelo Anthony situation. And the reason why I believe we're wrong about this situation is because there is hypocrisy being displayed at the very beginning of our argument against Austin Metcalf in favor of Karmelo Anthony. The first contradiction I notice is the part where they're saying Austin Metcalf put his hands on Karmelo Anthony. Now, the people who hold this sentiment are like, yo, if Austin Metcalf and others did not want Karmelo Anthony under their tent, they should not have put their hands on him. They should have went to someone in charge and told that person so that that person could tell Karmelo Anthony to leave from underneath their tent. Okay. If you use that logic, couldn't Karmelo Anthony have went to someone in charge and let them know that he was being harassed by this group of students from the rival school? We're talking about going to authority and telling someone in charge and letting them deal with the whatever negativity that was happening or whatever situation that was occurring at that track meet. But we only expect Austin Metcalf to do that, not Karmelo Anthony. That doesn't make any sense, guys. The way things go is you probably want to tell someone in charge before you pull out a weapon and delete someone. But Karmelo Anthony doesn't have to do that because he's Black. Only Austin Metcalf is held accountable for not going to a person of authority and getting that person to come intervene. Karmelo doesn't have to do that. Number two, we keep talking about Austin Metcalf was a bully. He had a history of bullying. Him and his brother were known bullies, all this type of stuff. One, there's no proof of that. I keep hearing that. I've been scouring the internet for 3 days looking for anyone who made that assertion or said that these guys were known to be bullies. All I see is people speaking positively of this person. That being said, there's no school records of a history of issues like that with Austin Metcalf. I've been looking on the internet, watching videos, looking up articles. I'm not seeing it. Now, what I did find is that Karmelo Anthony had gotten in trouble at his school a few weeks prior for bringing a knife to school. Like, this kid has a history of bringing weapons to school. So to say that the kid brought the weapon because he was in fear of his life or for his life makes no sense, because this guy is someone who carries weapons to school and has already been in trouble for doing so. Next is that very argument. Karmelo was in fear for his life. These people have been picking on him. I'm just talking about random stuff I've been hearing. Guys, if you're in fear for your life, why even show up to the track meet? If you're in fear for your life, why enter the bleacher area of the opposing team? How could you be in fear for your life when it comes to people who don't even go to the same school as you? right? And if you're in fear for your life, why are you challenging a person? Yeah, put your hands on me and see what happens. That's not in fear for your life. You're basically challenging someone's telling you, hey, you need to get out of our tent area, right? And you're saying, yeah, move me then. Make me get out. That's not how someone who's in fear for their life talks, right? That's not a person who's in fear for their life don't challenge people to make physical contact on them and say, yo, see what happens. So with the whole he was in fear for his life, that is a retroactive narrative that I think is being applied to the situation. The guy Karmelo, his behavior based on the stories does not fit the narrative of he was in fear for his life. And then another thing is, when it comes to Austin Metcalf, the hearsay is totally factual. Oh, if they said that he was a bully, that's what he was. If they said that he put his hands on Karmelo Anthony, well, that's what it was. But when the hearsay is applied to Karmelo Anthony, oh, they could be lying because he's black. They're making that up on him because he's black. Guys, either the hearsay is true or the hearsay is false. And we're going to find out when this reaches trial. But I don't understand why a bunch of people who I know for a fact would not want to send their kids to school with a guy like Karmelo Anthony are defending this guy and trying to make this guy out to be the victim. The victim is the person who's dead, right? At the end of the day, he's the guy who lost his life. Whatever happened to Karmelo Anthony, whether they put his hands on him or their hands on him or not, which that is just hearsay. No one is confirming, yes, they put their hands on him, right? Whatever they did was not enough to take Karmelo Anthony's life, right? So the fact that Karmelo Anthony felt that whatever they did was warranted him pulling out a knife and ending the life of Austin Metcalf, basically bro overreacted, and his use of force was excessive. Now, African American people can understand excessive force when the police do it to us, right? But when we use excessive force, well, all of a sudden, it's warranted no matter what. So you're telling me that if I walk up and put my finger on a police officer, I touched you, him killing me with a gun is excessive force. But if Austin Metcalf walks up and pushes Karmelo Anthony, that's totally justified. That doesn't make any sense. And I know that African American people can understand the concept of excessive force, because even when an African American person is attacking a police officer, even when an African American person is threatening a police officer and the police officer responds with deadly force, we will still argue, why couldn't the cop have shot that person in the leg? Why couldn't that cop have used a taser? Why couldn't that cop could have used less than lethal force? So if the cop could have used less than lethal force, you're telling me that there is nothing at all Karmelo Anthony could have done to defend himself, quote unquote, against Austin Metcalf? Ending the guy's life was the only course of action that could have been taken. I mean, even if you do take a beating, let's say you take a beating, let's say the guy beat you up. You then can go tell the teacher, hey, this guy assaulted me, and Austin Metcalf will be put in jail. And he will be off the street, no danger to you. But you took his life, which that totally eliminated everything he was doing to you, potentially, allegedly, because now he's dead and no one's here to be held accountable other than you for taking his life. I think what Karmelo Anthony did was wrong. I think it was unjustified. I think it was excessive. And I believe that the African-American people who are supporting Karmelo Anthony are sending the wrong message, not only to our children, but the rest of the world, because we are basically celebrating or defending someone who did something that on any other day of the week, if done to an African-American person, we would be condemning. It's just a lot of hypocrisy. And I understand it because I understand my people, African Americans. I understand my community. But if no one stands up for what's right, standing up for what's right has to be something that is done consistently versus only standing up for what's right when what's being done wrong is committed by another group of people or another ethnic group against you, right? It makes it seem like you're just arbitrary. Anything we do is justified. But if any other group does something to us, it's criminal and they need to be held accountable. I don't see where that gets you, especially in a society where you are hopelessly outnumbered. I don't see how being arbitrary, selective, and vicious and cold-hearted, I don't see how that helps you in any way, shape, or form. But you guys all know more than me. Please let me know what you think about this in the comment. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I bootlicking? Am I cahooning? Let me know, because I really want to keep this conversation going, because it's really something that I feel is challenging our community as African Americans, as Caucasians, or as Americans, period. It's really challenging our society to take a deeper look into, self-defense and following the rules. And another hypocritical thing too is you guys can say Austin Metcalf broke the rules by taking a knife, by putting his hands on Karmelo Anthony, but Karmelo Anthony also broke the law and the rules by bringing a knife into a sporting event, which is illegal based on the laws of Texas, the state of Texas. A lot of mistakes were made. There's people, I think both sides, if what is being said is true, I think both sides did things they shouldn't have done. But at the end of the day, you got to use these before you pick up a weapon and take somebody's life, in my opinion, especially if they don't have a weapon. Karmelo Anthony knew that Austin Metcalf didn't have a weapon. That's different from if someone's breaking in your home. That's different from if someone's trying to rob you or mug you. That's different from if someone's attacking you and you don't know what they could possibly have on them. Totally different. A guy at school in a track uniform, you went above and beyond what was necessary, and you did not go tell someone who is a person of authority. So if we can fault Austin Metcalf for not doing it, couldn't we fault Karmelo Anthony for not doing it? I'm just trying to keep it fair. Thank you for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me and this channel. Till the next time, peace.